I was at my desk when my phone buzzed. A message from Emily, my fiancée. We had 2 weeks until the wedding, and as far as I knew, every detail was locked in. I figured it would be about flowers or the seating chart. Honey, I am pregnant. My chest locked up, then kicked into overdrive. Pregnant. We were going to have a child. Holy cow. I was going to be a father. A grin spread across my face before the news even settled. This was massive. This changed the whole picture, and somehow made the picture even better. I kept reading. I was thinking of putting Tyler's name on the birth certificate. It is more meaningful. The smile fell off my face like a loose brick. I read the line again. Then again. My head would not accept it. She wanted to name our baby after her ex-boyfriend. More meaningful. Those were her exact words. More meaningful than what? More meaningful than me. More meaningful than the father? A cold feeling slid in behind my ribs. Why would she even think that? Why would the name of another man show up in the same breath as our baby? Unless, no, stop, think. She said she was pregnant. She did not say the baby was not mine. But that comment, that ridiculous comment about her ex's name being more meaningful, what was that supposed to mean? My mind started drawing lines I did not want to see. When was the last time Emily and I were together? 3 weeks ago. Maybe 4. Had she been distant? Acting off? I tried to replay the last month, but everything came through static. I stared at the screen until it went black. I woke it up and read the message again. The words did not move. My hands shook, not from anger yet, but from something worse. Uncertainty, doubt, fear. What if this child is not mine? The thought hit like a truck. I had no proof. Emily had not admitted anything. But why else bring up her ex's name at the same time as the pregnancy? People do not make that kind of connection without a reason. A real reason. My thumbs moved on their own. That is great news. Congratulations. Sarcasm felt safer than swinging wild. I needed facts before I made accusations. I needed to watch how people reacted. I needed to see what was really happening, because right then I had one awful feeling and one very suspicious message. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. My supervisor, Mr. Grant, called after me, asking where I was going. I kept walking. In the car, I sat for a full minute with both hands locked on the wheel. My phone buzzed again. Emily, I am so happy you are excited. We should celebrate tonight. Excited? Sure. I felt plenty of things, and excited was not one of them. I needed to talk to someone who could not fake it. Someone who would show the truth in his face if there was anything to hide. I started the engine and opened the navigation app. I knew where Tyler lived. He was Emily's ex. She had pointed out his area on a drive about 6 months back, said he got married, settled down, bought a house. Back then, it felt like harmless small talk. Right now, it felt like I had been taking notes without knowing why. The drive took about 40 minutes. For all 40, my brain ran a loop. Maybe Emily was joking. A terrible joke, but possible. Maybe she meant something else. Maybe I was blowing it out of proportion. But that line would not stop ringing. More meaningful. More meaningful than the actual father's name. How would that make any sense unless the actual father was not me? I pulled up to a 2-story place with beige siding and a neat front yard. A blue sedan sat beside a silver sport utility vehicle in the driveway. Married couple cars. I parked across the street and stared at the house. What was I about to do? Was I really going to accuse a man I had never met of sleeping with my fiancée based on one warped text? Yes, because that message was too specific to be random, too odd to be clean. If I was wrong, I would apologize and leave. If I was right, I needed to see his eyes when I brought it up. I needed to see him squirm. Maybe he would confess. Maybe he would panic. Either way, I would know more than I knew sitting at my desk. I walked to the door and knocked. 3 firm knocks. My heart hammered, but I kept my face steady. A woman answered. Blonde hair, athletic build, mid-30s. Probably Tyler's wife. Can I help you? She asked, frowning a little. Sorry to bother you. Is Tyler home? He is at work. Can I ask who you are? I took out my phone and held up the message from Emily. I watched her eyes track the words. I watched her face slide from confused to shocked to something I could not name. I am Emily's fiancé, I said, keeping my voice low. She just sent me this. I do not know what it means. I was hoping your husband might have some insight. Her hand covered her mouth. What? Why would she say that? That is what I am trying to figure out. She stepped back from the doorway and pulled out her phone. I said, I think you should call him. This is insane. I agree, I added. Do you mind if I wait here? She nodded, distracted, already tapping the screen. I could hear her voice shake as she told Tyler to come home right now. She did not explain why. She just repeated that it was urgent. When she hung up, she looked at me. He will be here in 20 minutes. He works close by? Thank you, I said. We stood in a pocket of awkward silence. She kept flicking her eyes to my phone like she needed to read the message again to believe it was real. I kept my face plain. Inside, my head was yelling. Outside, I looked like a man calmly waiting for answers. A pickup rolled by slow, the driver rubbernecking at the stranger on a neighbor's porch. I ignored it. My phone buzzed. Emily calling. I declined. She could wait. I needed this conversation first. About 18 minutes later, the silver sport utility vehicle swung onto the street and braked hard into the driveway. Tyler jumped out, tall and fit, wearing business casual clothes. He saw me on the porch with his wife, and his color drained. What is going on? He said, looking back and forth between us. I held up my phone. Emily sent me this today. Thought you might want to see it. He took the phone, read the message, and went from puzzled to horrified in seconds. What in the world? I have not spoken to Emily in years. Then why would she use your name? His wife asked, sharp as a blade. I do not know. He looked panicked now, which got my attention. Innocent people get confused. Guilty people panic. This does not make any sense, he said. I took my phone back. She is pregnant. She says she wants to put your name on the birth certificate because it is more meaningful. You expect me to believe that means nothing to you? Absolutely nothing. His voice jumped an octave. I am married. I have not been anywhere near her. His wife's eyes started to fill with tears. Then why would she say this? I do not know. Maybe she is lying. Maybe she is trying to start trouble. I do not know. I watched him carefully. He was defensive, sure. I tried to see if it was real fear or a cover. Hard to tell. Either way, I had done what I came to do. I stirred the water. I added doubt. Now I had more to work with when I faced Emily. All right, I said, steady. I will go talk to her. See what she says. Tyler grabbed my forearm. Wait, what are you going to tell her? The truth. That I came here. That you denied everything. That I want answers. He let go and dragged a hand through his hair. This is crazy. I did not do anything. We will see, I said, and walked to my car. Behind me, their voices rose, his wife pressing, his denials getting louder. I sat in the driver's seat and let the phone light up my lap. Message after message from Emily. Where are you? Why are you not answering? Please call me. I did not respond. Not yet. I started the engine and pointed the car toward her apartment. Time to hear her story. Time to watch her face when I told her where I had just been. Time to find out if my worst thought was real, or if I was about to feel like the biggest fool on earth. Either way, this was going to change everything. I drove straight to Emily's place. My head ran through every scenario. Maybe she had a reasonable explanation. Maybe I was overreacting. But the weight in my gut said otherwise. People do not bring up an ex-boyfriend's name when they announce a pregnancy unless something is badly wrong. I parked and sat for a moment. The phone kept buzzing with more of her texts. I ignored them. I needed to see her eyes. Texts can be edited, rehearsed, cleaned up. Reactions are harder to fake. I walked up and knocked. The door opened right away. She had been standing there, waiting. Her eyes were red and puffy. Thank God, she said. I have been calling you for an hour. Where have you been? I walked past her and sat on the couch. She stood in the doorway, wringing her hands. So, I said, keeping my voice level. Tell me about the message. She closed the door and sat across from me. I know it sounded strange. I was not thinking clearly when I wrote it. Not thinking clearly, I repeated. You wrote 2 sentences. You used punctuation. You said putting your ex-boyfriend's name on our child's birth certificate would be more meaningful. That takes thought, Emily. I was overwhelmed, she said, voice rising, almost pleading. Finding out I am pregnant brought up feelings about my past, about people who have mattered in my life, important enough to name our child after. She faltered. No, that is not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Use small words so I can follow. I just thought maybe as a middle name, or something, to honor good relationships I had before you. Tyler was a big part of my life once. Stop. I held up my hand. You want to give our baby your ex-boyfriend's name as a middle name to honor him while you are marrying me. When you say it like that, it sounds bad. Because it is bad, Emily. It is flat out crazy. I leaned forward. Why would that even cross your mind? Why would you text that to me right after saying you were pregnant? She started fidgeting, picking at her nails. eyes skittering away from mine. I told you I was not thinking straight. The feelings hit all at once, and I typed before I processed. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened it. Tell your crazy fiancé to leave me alone. I am happily married and want nothing to do with her drama. She is lying about everything. I turned the screen toward her. This just came in. From Tyler, I am guessing. Her face lost its color. Why is he texting you? I went to his house. She stood so fast she knocked over her glass. Water flashed across the table. You what? I sat with him and his wife. We had a nice little chat. I showed them your message. I wanted to see how they would react. You had no right. I had every right. I said, steady. You sent a message that made me question everything. I went to find answers before I confronted you. That seemed like the smart move. What did he say? He denied all of it. Said he has not talked to you in years. He got very defensive. His wife started crying. I watched her closely. Here's the part that stuck with me. He did not look confused. He looked panicked. He was panicked because you ambushed him on his front step with his wife standing there, she shot back. Anyone would panic. Or he panicked because he has something to hide. I stood up. Here is what I cannot make sense of. If this child is mine and nothing is going on, why bring him up at all? Why would his name be in your head the moment you learned you were pregnant? She opened her mouth, shut it, opened it again. I do not know. It was stupid. I made a mistake. A mistake is a typo, I said. A mistake is sending a message to the wrong person. You did not slip. You chose to mention putting another man's name on our child's birth certificate, and you called it meaningful. That is not a slip, Emily. That is a decision. You are twisting everything I said. Am I? I kept my voice even. Then untwist it. Make it make sense. She started crying harder. Why are you being so cruel? I am pregnant with your baby, and you are treating me like a criminal. Is it my baby? The question hung in the air between us. She froze. What? Simple question. Is the baby mine? Of course it is. How could you even ask that? Because of what you wrote. Because of how you are acting. Because none of this adds up unless you are keeping something from me. I have told you everything, she shouted. I made a stupid comment that I regret, and you have blown it completely out of proportion. My phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number. Your girl has been texting me all afternoon, begging me not to tell you anything. But there is nothing to tell because nothing happened. Keep your woman under control. I showed her that one too. He says you have been blowing up his phone, begging him not to tell me something. Why do you not want him to tell me, Emily? I texted him once after you left his place to say I am sorry you dragged him into this. That is not what his message says. She reached for my phone. I pulled it back. Do not. You are ruining everything, she said, tears streaming now. We are supposed to be getting married in 2 weeks. We are supposed to be happy about this baby. Instead, you are accusing me of things I did not do. Then take a paternity test. She went still. What? A blood test at a medical clinic. Prove the baby is mine. If it is, we move forward. If it is not, I let the rest hang. That is insane. Is it? You sent a message that blew up my trust. You are nervous as can be. Tyler is acting guilty. So prove me wrong. Take the test. I should not have to prove anything to you. You are right. In a normal situation, you would not. But this is not normal. You made it abnormal when you hit send. I walked to the door. Set the appointment. Send me the details. Until then, I do not want to hear from you. Where are you going? She asked. Away from here. I opened the door. One more thing. The wedding. I canceled it this afternoon right after your message. Felt a little premature to plan a marriage when I do not even know if I am the father. You canceled our wedding? Her voice cracked. I can uncancel it if the test proves I am wrong, I said. But I doubt it will. You are making a huge mistake. Maybe, I said. But it is mine to make. I stepped out and closed the door. I could hear her sobbing through the wood. I did not turn back. My phone rang right away. Her number. I declined. It rang again. I declined again. Then the texts flooded in. Please come back. We can work through this. I love you. Do not throw away everything we have. I got in my car and headed to my parents' house. I needed to tell them before Emily did. I needed to control the story before it spun out, because I had a bad feeling the spin had already begun. When I pulled into their driveway, my phone buzzed one more time. Another message from Tyler. I am getting a lawyer. Tell your fiancée that if she keeps dragging me into her mess, there will be consequences. I have a marriage to save because of her lies. I sat there staring at that message. His marriage needed saving because of her lies. He kept saying nothing happened, But the way he panicked told a different story. Either he was guilty and covering, or he was innocent and terrified he would be blamed. Either way, someone was lying. I was going to find out who, even if it blew up everything I had. My mother opened the front door before I could knock. She had that look mothers get when they already know something is wrong. "What happened?" she asked, stepping aside so I could come in. My father was in the living room watching the news. When he saw my face, he muted the television. "The wedding is off," I said, dropping onto the couch. "For now, anyway." "What do you mean, for now?" my father asked. I pulled out my phone and showed them Emily's message. I watched their expressions walk the same path mine had taken. Confusion, then shock, then anger. "She wants to name the baby after her ex-boyfriend," I said. My mother's voice jumped. "What on earth would make her say that?" "That is what I am trying to figure out." I told them everything. I told them about going to Tyler's house, the conversation with him and his wife, the confrontation with Emily, and the demand for a paternity test. My father nodded slowly. "You did the right thing. Something is off. What if I am wrong?" I rubbed my hands over my face. What if she truly had one idiotic moment and I am tearing apart our life over nothing? "Then the test will prove it," my mother said, firm as a fence post. "And if she has nothing to hide, she should not mind taking it." My phone buzzed again. Emily. I had lost count of how many times she had called in the last hour. "You need to block her," my father said. "Until this is settled. Do not let her pull your strings. She is not trying to manipulate." I stopped. Was she? The crying, the defensive anger, the guilt trips for even asking questions. Maybe you are right. I did not block her, but I did turn off notifications. The phone could buzz all night. I was not looking. That night, I barely slept. I ran scenarios in my head. Best case, the baby was mine, and Emily had said something massively foolish that she would be apologizing for during the next few years. Worst case, she had cheated and gotten pregnant by her ex. I tried to imagine a middle ground and came up empty. It felt black and white. In the morning, I woke to 17 missed calls and 32 texts from Emily. I made coffee before I opened any of them. Most were the same lines over and over. "Please talk to me. I can explain everything." One message stood out. "Fine. I scheduled the test. Next Tuesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Harbor Medical Center. Are you happy now?" Tuesday. That was 6 days away. 6 days of waiting, wondering, and slowly going crazy. But at least she agreed. I texted back. "I will be there." 3 dots appeared, vanished, came back, then disappeared again. Finally. Okay. Work was impossible. I told my boss I needed the week off for a family emergency. He did not ask questions. He told me to handle what I needed to handle. Small blessing. On Wednesday afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number again. I almost let it go to voicemail. "Hello, this is Natalie, Tyler's wife," she said. Her voice was tight. "We need to talk." I sat up straighter. "All right. Did Emily actually text you what you showed us about the baby's name?" "Yes. I can forward screenshots if you want proof." "No, I believe you. I just needed to hear you say it." She took a shaky breath. "Tyler swears nothing happened, but he has been acting strange since you came to our house. Defensive, angry. He will not let me see his phone anymore." "He will not let you see his phone," I repeated. "That is new. Very new. Before this week, we had an open phone policy. Now he has it locked and carries it everywhere, even to the bathroom." My stomach dropped. That is not a good sign. "No, it is not." She paused. "Is Emily taking a paternity test?" "Tuesday. When you get the results, will you tell me? I deserve to know if my husband has been lying to me." "I will," I promised. "I am sorry you are going through this." "I am sorry you are, too." She hung up. I stared at the phone. Tyler's sudden lockdown on his device felt damning. People do not slam a door on their phones unless they are hiding something. Either he was deleting messages from Emily, or he was talking to someone about how to handle this, or he was guilty and covering his tracks. On Thursday, my phone rang again. This time it was Emily's mother. "How could you cancel the wedding?" she demanded before I could say hello. "Do you have any idea how humiliating this is for our family?" "With all due respect, your daughter made it humiliating," I said. "She wrote the message. She made a mistake. One silly comment, and you are throwing away your whole future." "It was not silly. It was specific and it was alarming. You are being paranoid and cruel. That baby is yours. Emily loves you, and you are treating her like a criminal. She can prove the baby is mine on Tuesday. Until then, I am not discussing it." I ended the call before she could answer. Over the next few days, I heard from Emily's father, her sister, and her best friend. All of them said I was overreacting. All of them told me to forgive, to move on, to stop making a scene. I kept my phone on silent and watched the calendar crawl toward Tuesday. All of them were defending her. Not one of them could explain why she wrote what she wrote. My own friends were split down the middle. Half said I was doing the right thing. Half said I was being paranoid. Every single one agreed the message was strange. Friday night, my phone buzzed. A text from Emily. "Can we please talk face to face? I miss you." I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to see her, to hope this was a huge misunderstanding. The clearer part of me said wait. After the test, not before, I replied. "You really do not trust me at all, do you? Should I?" No response. Saturday morning, I woke up to a voicemail from Tyler. His voice was tight and angry. "I do not know what game Emily is playing, but I am done being dragged into it. My wife is filing for divorce because of your accusations. We have been married 6 years. 6 years, and it is falling apart because your fiancée cannot keep her mouth shut. If that test comes back showing I am not the father, I am suing both of you for defamation." I saved the voicemail. I figured I might need it. Sunday crawled by like the longest day of my life. Tomorrow was the test. Tomorrow I would find out if I was about to be a father or if I had dodged a bullet. One way or the other, everything would change. That night, Emily texted again. "I am scared." I almost ignored it, but my thumbs moved anyway. Me too. What if this ruins us? It already did. The test just confirms what is true. I love you. I did not answer. I did not even know what I felt anymore. Love depends on trust, and trust was in short supply. Monday night, I could not eat. I could not focus. My mother tried to distract me with a movie. My father offered to come with me for support. I said no. I needed to do this alone. I set 3 alarms. I did not need them. I was awake at 5, staring at the ceiling, counting the hours until I would know. At 9:30, I drove to Harbor Medical Center. My hands were steady on the wheel, but my heart hammered. In 30 minutes, I would walk through those doors not knowing if I was a father. A few hours after that, I would walk out knowing whether the woman I intended to marry had betrayed me in the worst way. I got there 15 minutes early and watched the entrance. At exactly 9:55, Emily pulled in. She looked worn out. Dark circles, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, sweatpants, an oversized hoodie. She saw my car, hesitated, and went inside. I followed. We did not speak. We did not make eye contact. We checked in at the desks separately and sat on opposite sides of the waiting room. A nurse called us together and led us to a small room with 2 chairs and a counter lined with medical supplies. "We will need blood samples from both of you," she said, calm and professional. "Results typically take 5 to 7 business days. We will call with the findings." "Can you send them to both of us?" I asked. "Of course." She looked at Emily. "Is that acceptable?" Emily nodded without looking at me. The blood draw took 10 minutes. Emily went first. I watched the nurse tie the band on her arm, slide in the needle, and fill the vial. That blood held the truth. My turn. I barely felt the needle. I was focused on Emily's face. She looked scared. People who have nothing to hide do not usually look that scared. "All set," the nurse said brightly. "We will be in touch soon." We left the room and walked out separately. I had just reached my car when Emily called out, "Wait, please." I stopped but did not turn. "Can we talk? Just for 5 minutes." "About what?" "About us. About how we fix this." I turned to face her. "There is nothing to fix yet. We wait for the results. Then we will know if there is anything left to fix." "You really think I cheated on you?" "I think you gave me every reason to wonder." "That is on you, not me." Her face crumpled. "I made a stupid mistake with that message. I have said that 100 times. Why will you not believe me?" "Because your story keeps changing. Because you get defensive when I ask basic questions. Because Tyler is hiding his phone from his wife now." I leaned against my car. "If nothing is going on, why is everyone acting guilty? He is hiding his phone because you blew up his marriage. His wife thinks he cheated because you planted that idea in her head." "I did not plant anything. I showed her what you wrote, and she drew her own conclusions." "This is insane," Emily said, wrapping her arms around herself. "In a week, you are going to get those results and feel like a fool, and I do not know if I can forgive you for putting me through this." "That is fair," I said. "I do not know if I can forgive you for making it necessary." I got in my car and pulled away, leaving her standing in the parking lot. My phone started buzzing before I even reached the street. I let it ring. The next 7 days were rough. Emily called nonstop. Her family called nonstop. My family tried to steady me while quietly hoping I was wrong. I could see it in their eyes. They wanted the child to be mine. They wanted this whole mess to turn out to be a mix-up. I wanted that, too. Wanting something does not make it true. On Wednesday, Natalie called again. I filed for divorce, she said, voice flat. Tyler is staying at a hotel. He is still denying everything, but I cannot live with this doubt. I am sorry, I said. Do not be. If he is innocent, he will prove it. If he is not, her voice cracked. I deserve better than a liar. You do. When do you get your results? Any day now. Call me when you do. I will. Thursday afternoon, Emily's sister showed up at my parents' place. I was in the garage working on my car when she found me. You are destroying her, she said without even saying hello. She has not eaten in 3 days. She is having panic attacks. All because you cannot trust her. All because she gave me a reason not to, I said. One message. One very specific message about naming our child after her ex-boyfriend. It was one stupid message, she pressed. She was emotional and not thinking clearly. I set the wrench down. Let me ask you something. If your fiancé sent you a message saying he wanted to name your baby after his ex-girlfriend because it was more meaningful, would you just shrug it off? She opened her mouth. Shut it. That is different. How? Because Emily would never actually do that. She loves you. Then the test will prove it, and we can all move on. She left without another word. 20 minutes later, Emily's father called. I let it go to voicemail. He called me paranoid and selfish. I deleted it before he finished. Friday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my phone rang from an unknown number. I almost let it go. I answered. This is Harbor Medical Center calling. A woman said after a short pause, like she was checking a chart, regarding laboratory results for Emily Bennett and yourself. My heart stopped. Yes, this is him. Your results are ready. I can email them to both parties now, or you can pick up paper copies at the front desk. Email them, please. They should arrive within the next few minutes. Have a good day. She hung up. I stared at the screen. This was it. In a few minutes, I would know. I sat on the porch steps, opened my email, and refreshed. Nothing. Refreshed again. Nothing. Refreshed a third time. A new message from Harbor Medical Center. I tapped it. The portable document format file loaded slowly, too slowly. My hands shook hard enough that I nearly dropped the phone. The document filled the screen. Medical terms, codes, numbers I did not understand. I scrolled to the part that mattered. There it was. Probability of paternity, 0%. Based on the genetic markers analyzed, the tested man is excluded as the biological father of the tested child. 0%. Excluded. Not the father. I read it 3 times to make sure I was not missing something. I was not. It was plain. Brutal. Final. The child was not mine. I stared at the words and felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. No relief. Just empty. My phone rang. Emily. Did you get it? She asked, her voice small. Yeah. Silence. Long and heavy. I am so sorry, she whispered. So it is true, I said. You cheated. It was one time. One stupid, drunk mistake. I did not mean for any of this to happen. With Tyler. Yes. When, a month ago, we ran into each other at a bar. We were both drinking, and it just happened. A month ago, while we were planning a wedding, while I was calling vendors and confirming the guest list, while she was trying on dresses and texting me photos of flower arrangements. Does he know? I asked. Not for sure. I told him it might be his. He has been panicking ever since. And you were going to marry me and pretend the baby was mine. I thought maybe it was. I was not sure. But you knew it might not be. And you did not tell me. She started crying. I am sorry. I made a terrible mistake, but I love you. We can still fix this. I laughed. Could not help it. Fix this. Emily, you are pregnant with another man's child, a man you slept with while you were engaged to me. What exactly is there to fix? We can get through it together. No, we cannot. We are done. I stood up. You need to tell Tyler. He deserves to know he is about to be a father. What about us? There is no us. There has not been since the night you slept with him. I just did not know it. Please do not do this, she said. I ended the call and blocked her number. Then I forwarded the results to Natalie with a simple note. You were right to file for divorce. She replied within seconds. Thank you for telling me. I am sorry you had to go through this. I called my parents and told them everything. My mother cried. My father said, come home. We will figure out the next steps. Next steps. There were going to be a lot of those. But first, I had one more thing to do. I drove to Emily's apartment. I did not knock. I used my key one last time. She was on the couch, exactly where I figured she would be. I want every penny back, I said. Everything I spent on the wedding, the deposits, the venue, the photographer, every bit of it. I do not have that kind of money, she said. Then figure it out. Sell something. Borrow from your parents. I do not care. You are paying me back every single dollar. That is not fair. Fair. I stared at her. You cheated on me, got pregnant by your ex, and tried to pass off his child as mine. And you want to talk about fair? She had no answer. I put my key on the counter. Goodbye, Emily. I walked out for the last time, got in my car, and drove away from the biggest mistake I almost made. The child was not mine. The wedding was canceled. The relationship was done. Somehow, I felt more relieved than I had in years. I did not waste time. Saturday morning, I sent a group text to both families, Emily's parents, her sister, my parents, my brother. Everyone who had been pulled into this mess. Family meeting. My parents' house. 2 p.m. today. Everyone needs to be there. Emily's mother called right away. What is this about? You will hear it at 2, I said. I got there early. I set up my laptop on the dining table and printed copies of the test results. When people started coming in, I could see the confusion. Emily came last, looking like she had not slept. Her parents hovered on either side of her. All right, her father said. What is this about? I handed out the papers and watched their eyes track the lines. 0% probability of paternity, I said clearly. The child is not mine. Do you want to know whose it is? Emily's mother went pale. This cannot be right. It is right, I said. Emily cheated on me with her ex-boyfriend, Tyler, about a month ago. She got pregnant and tried to hide it. That message about naming the baby after him, that was her guilt talking. Emily's father turned to her. Is this true? She nodded, tears running down her face. You cheated? Her mother whispered. While planning your wedding? It was a mistake, she said. A mistake that cost me $15,000 in wedding expenses, I said, which she is going to pay back to the last cent. We do not have that kind of money, her father protested. Then sell her car or take out a loan. I do not care. I am getting my money back. My mother touched my arm. Honey, maybe we should. No, I said. She made her choice. She lives with the consequences. Emily's sister spoke up. You are being cruel. I am being fair, I said. She tried to trick me into raising another man's child. Cruel would be pressing charges for fraud. That quieted the room. Does Tyler know? Emily's father asked softly. He does now? I forwarded him the results this morning. His wife already filed for divorce. Emily started sobbing harder. Her mother wrapped her up, but even she looked sick over it. I think we should go, her father said stiffly. This is humiliating enough. Good, I said. You should feel humiliated. Your daughter wrecked 2 relationships and brought a child into the world under a lie. They left fast. My family stayed. You okay? My father asked. Better than okay, I said. I dodged a bullet. I dropped into a chair. Imagine if I had married her and found out later. My mother squeezed my shoulder. You did the right thing. All of it. My phone buzzed. A text from Natalie. Tyler is freaking out. His lawyer says he will have to pay child support. His whole life is falling apart. Thank you for getting to the truth. I replied. We both deserved better. Within hours, word rippled through our circle of friends. People started choosing sides. Most people took my side. Emily's friends tried to defend her at first, but the facts were plain. She cheated. She lied. She tried to pass off paternity. By Monday, she had deactivated every social account she had. She could not handle the blowback. On Tuesday, I got a check from her parents for $8,000. There was a note. It is all we can manage right now. The rest will come in payments. I deposited it and sent over a payment plan. All business. No emotion. On Wednesday, I booked testing for sexually transmitted diseases. The last thing I needed was a parting gift from Emily's bad decisions. The panel came back clean. Small mercy. A month later, friends told me Emily and Tyler were working out logistics for the baby. Neither of them wanted a relationship with the other, but they were tied together for the next 18 years. Natalie's divorce from him went through fast. She got the house, the savings, and some peace. Emily's family went quiet on her for a while. too embarrassed to face people. As for me, I went to the gym, reconnected with old friends, buried myself in work, and rebuilt the life I had almost wrecked by ignoring red flags. That message saved my life. As dumb as it was for her to send, it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me, because it set me free. She had to live with what she chose. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to be smart enough to let go. 6 months later, her parents sent the final payment. $15,000 total, fully reimbursed. I deposited the check and felt nothing. Not joy, not rage, just closure. My life looked different. I earned a promotion, moved into a downtown apartment, and started dating again, slow and casual. I learned my lesson about overlooking obvious signs. I ran into Emily once at the grocery store. She was very pregnant and bone-tired. Our eyes met. She opened her mouth like she wanted to speak. I kept walking. There was nothing left to say. Word got around that Tyler paid child support, but stayed out of everything else. Natalie remarried a better man. Emily's parents helped her here and there, but things were strained. She burned too many bridges. My family did not say her name anymore. That chapter was closed, locked, and buried. One night, my buddy Ethan asked if I regretted how I handled it. Not for a second, I said. That message was the universe tapping me on the shoulder. I could have ignored it, married her, and spent years raising another man's child before the truth came out. Instead, I listened to my gut. Think you will ever trust someone again? He asked. Yeah, I said. But I will verify. Trust and verification are not opposites. They are teammates. 3 weeks ago, Emily texted from a new number. I am sorry for everything. I hope you are doing well. I blocked it without a reply. Some apologies show up too late to matter. Last week, I took down the last photo of us from my cloud storage, deleted her contact information for good, and scrubbed every trace. People ask if I am bitter. I am not. I am grateful. Grateful for that foolish message. Grateful I learned the truth before the wedding. Grateful I had the backbone to walk away instead of swallowing a lie. She made her choice. I made mine. She is living with the cost of betrayal. I am living free. Sometimes the best revenge is just being happy while they sit in the mess they made. I do not think about her now. I do not wonder what might have been. I do not miss what we had, because what we had was built on lies. I deserve better than that. Everybody does.